This is Team Lil Beaver Tracker's progress report number 2. Our team is Yunchi Chang, Jelena Kandig, Glenn Brochard, and Tony Fanibi. This week, our biggest focus was strengthening the project's foundation so the next sprint can build on stable schema, family management, voice parsing, and improved UI flows. What went well this sprint was that our database schema v3 migration shipped cleanly, and we also verified Firebase connectivity end to end. Those were important because they reduced uncertainty in the app's data layer and give us confidence moving into sync and multi user features. What not to do as well was our original Progress Report 2 plan around the Firebase push queue. That scope turned out to be too large for this sprint, so we deliberately deferred it to Progress Report 3 and prioritized getting the family life cycle and supporting architecture right first. To address that, we plan to communicate scope change early during stand up so reviewers and teammates are not surprised by mid sprint pivots. For Yunchi, the major contributions were the Schema v3 migration, the family lifecycle work, Firebase connectivity testing, and the UI handoff material for myself. That work created the technical contract the rest of the team can build on. For me, the focus was UI design and app usability. I worked on the settings screen and baby profile flow, improved the dashboard and selector layout, and developed the voice first mockup and other screen refinements that make the app clear for caregivers. For Glenn, the focus was the voice layer. He built the parser scaffold, added coverage for feeding, diaper, sleep, and query commands, created save rails for ambiguous input, and set up the controller and API stubs so voice features can be wired in without changing the interface later. Lastly, for Toby, the focus was analytics, testing, and infrastructure quality. He worked on frequency bar charts, strengthening unit testing for major forms, improved async error handling, and refined camera and storage behavior. Looking ahead, Yuchi will focus on the voice to database bridge, the Firebase push queue, and the pool listener so remote and offline entries merge correctly. My next priorities are finishing the history screen redesign, improving UI consistency across the main screens, and continuing the voice input experience once the underlying functionality is ready. Glenn will wire the real speech to text runtime, replace the current text to speech placeholder with save confirmations, and connect the parser into the actual controller path and settings toggles. Toby will continue the analytics implementation, adapt test and chart data to the new schema, and improve the UI test infrastructure. A few blockers came up this sprint. On the data side, some voice command details still need to be finalized before the voice to database bridge can be implemented cleanly. On the UI side, theme mismatch and mobile layout issues still need refinement, especially for readability and responsive spacing. For voice input, the UI concept is ahead of the real microphone and speech recognition integration, so that part depends on the next round of backend wiring. One notable act of teamwork was Yunchi creating a self contained UI handoff package for me, including a markdown specs and browser renderable wireframes across the family related streams. That let UI work begin in parallel instead of waiting for backend clarification. Another strong collaboration example was Toby using AI support to diagnose the baby selector layout issue. That produced a focused fix instead of a full redesign and helped preserve momentum. In this sprint, AI was mainly used as a productivity accelerator rather than a decision maker. It helped create a structured handoff for UI implementation and also helped diagnose a tricky layout inconsistency. In both cases, the value was speed and clear iteration, while the team still validated the final direction. Our main takeaway from the progress report number 2 is that we made meaningful progress on the foundation of the app. The schema migration, family and invitation lifecycle work, parser groundwork, and UI flows all put us in a much stronger position for progress report number 3. Even though not every originally planned feature landed, the work we completed reduces risk and makes the next sprint more executable. For these screenshots, we highlight the underlying infrastructure work. Here we show the schema migration landing correctly. For this one, it shows the first launch family bootstrap flow. And lastly, the Firebase connectivity smoke test. These are important because they demonstrate that the app is not just designed conceptually, the core data and sync pieces are now functioning and testable. Here we show the current state of the voice layer. The key point is that the parser foundation is already in place. Common feeding, diaper, sleep, and query commands can be interpreted locally and prepared for UI or safe handoff. That means that the next step is wiring in live speech capture rather than redesigning the parsing model itself. These screenshots show the code for the settings and index files. Settings is the screen where the user manages their baby profiles. It lets the user see the list of babies already added, add a new baby, edit an existing baby, or delete a baby. The index file is the dashboard screen in the app. It shows a quick summary of the selected baby's activity for the day. This includes how many feedings were logged, how many diapers were logged, how much sleep was logged, and a short written summary of the day. In settings and baby profiles, users can create, edit, and delete baby profiles in a straightforward way. We also want to be transparent that some UI polish issues remain, especially on the history page and in a few responsive layouts, but the core structure and intended interaction model are now in place. The dashboard gives a quick summary of daily activities, and the log creation flow offers both speaking and typing so the app can support busy caregivers in any context. A screenshot of the log page shows the clear and minimalist design that allows users to enter what they need to quickly and easily. As mentioned, some UI issues still have to be polished, but the app works as intended. Here we start off with the baby profile, originally called settings. Users can come here and easily create, edit, and delete baby profiles in a straightforward way. This minimalist design does not overwhelm the user and provides all the necessary information in an organized manner. As you can see, it only takes seconds to change the name, nickname, or the baby's birth date. If the user wants to add a new baby, they simply press the plus add baby and are brought to the same page. I will make a test baby named Test to demonstrate how their information is stored and carried throughout the app. When the user wants to create a new log, they can click on the log icon at the bottom of the screen where they are transported to the log page. At the top of the page, the three babies' names are presented on cards where caregivers can click on the baby who they want to create a new log for. At this point, the user has two options: speak a new log or type it out. When the user presses down on the record button, an indication comes up letting them know the app is listening. Once they release their hold, a summary pops up and shows what they just said. They can choose to edit their log as shown or save it to their history. As we can see, we made a new log for the test baby and it is immediately viewable on the history page. When we go to the home page, there should be a summary of all the test baby's activities for the day, which should only be the one feeding. We can see that baby 1 and baby 2 have nothing in their cards since no new logs were created on this day. If we go ahead to the log page again and select baby 1, then type the log in, we are presented a questionnaire with all the necessary categories and questions needed to give as much information about the baby's habits without being overwhelming or time consuming. We will put in a new log that says the baby had a brown soft stool, and when we go to history, we can see the date of the input and what was submitted for baby 1. Baby 2 still has their old information on their profile, and the test baby has the new log we created during this video. Overall, this sprint gave us a stable technical and UI foundation, and our next sprint is focused on turning that groundwork into more complete integrated user-facing behavior.